Hey guys, it's definitely a weird time to be filming, so the lighting's kind of gonna be different, but let's just hang out. Let's not mind it. But today, I have a very exciting video to film. I'm going to be filming the video where I tell you guys which of these 12 colleges I will be attending in the fall. And this is assuming that we're not still in quarantine in the fall, but if we are,
I'm gonna be mad.
that's all I'll say. A lot of these videos that I watch online of this sort of like, where am I going to college? They always have some like fun snack in front of them. And since we're in quarantine, I couldn't go out and get like cupcakes or something. So I looked in my pantry and I had some nice cheese crackers. So that is what we will be using. And they are on this nice table that I did clean, so don't be like germs, because I cleaned it. So don't be weird, people. That's all I'll say. Yeah, so I think it's just a good idea to get right into it. So as you guys know, last video I accidentally exposed one school, which is TCU. So I am not going to be attending TCU in the fall, solely because I just didn't feel like it was for me. I do know a lot of people that go here, like I said last time. They all love it there, but I just personally can't see myself here. And that's pretty much all it came down to, was just can't really see myself there, so I'm not gonna go there. Yeah. Those are good crackers. I'm gonna need some water. So, the next school that some of you probably already know too is I ruled out Syracuse University, which was my ED, which I got in, and I said this a lot last video, that I definitely wasn't expecting to get in there. I was super flattered, and that program is super hard to get into, so I was really proud. But just compared to other financial aid that I was getting, the fact that they gave me none kind of made the decision for me. And also New York was really far away, and I don't really leave home that often, so it was definitely going to be a big change. But they still send me emails all the time, so saying like, welcome to Syracuse. So I'm not sure if they got my email saying that I don't want to go, but so I might actually be a student at Syracuse still, but I'm not really sure, so sorry about it. Alright guys, we're down to 10. The next school is, of course, Cal Poly SLO, because I got waitlisted here, and I don't think I'm going to want to wait and see if I got off the wait list or not. Because on the email it said that I won't, that I'll hear back from them on like July 17th or something. I was like, that's a big risk for me to take, just like waiting around till July 17th, like, well, maybe I'll get in. Like, that just seemed a little bit too scary. But like I said last video, both my parents went here, so it's definitely a sentimental school in my family, but it's just not right for me. And that's okay, because it wasn't really my major, so. On to the next one. I love cheese crackers.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did just watch back what I filmed, and I closed the computer because I realized all those pictures were really intense, so I'm sorry. But, yeah, so we'll keep going. Who was the next school that I ruled out? Yes. University of Florida, sadly, got the boot, even though I already had the Instagram caption ready for this, putting the Allie and Gator, because they're the alligators, and my name is Allie. So it made a lot of sense from a pun aspect to go to this school, but then once I put the puns aside, I realized it might not be for me. Given that I'm having a great time doing online school, because it's just an easy way for me to get all my work done, and I get it done really fast. But then when I was thinking about it, would I want to keep doing this for another year and a half? No. And if you watched my last video, I know I've said that like 8 times, but go watch the last video if you haven't. It'll make a lot more sense. But in the last video, you saw me open my decision letter for this, and it was telling me that I'll have to do online school for about a year to a year and a half before I'm actually able to live on campus, which just seems like a lot to commit to given the circumstances right now. But frankly, if we are still doing online school in the fall, this would have been my only normal school experience, so maybe I'm missing out. I did rule out Florida, sorry, I'm still swallowing. I did rule out FSU pretty quickly after University of Florida, just because I liked the school and I liked the program, but I don't know, there wasn't something about the school that was like, I need to go to FSU, therefore, I'm not going to FSU. But, actually there's not really any buts about it, I'm just not going to FSU, so, sorry. The next school we're going to rule out is Auburn University. Kind of a bummer, given that my sister goes here, and that was a big pro for this school, is if I wanted to go to college with my sister. But when thinking about it, given that I'm a film and media major, I'm not sure if a small town in Alabama is exactly where I'll get a lot of internship experience. It is close to Atlanta, Georgia, which is a huge hub for entertainment, but I just feel like all of these other places, it's a lot more accessible, while this I'd kind of have to look a little bit harder for it. And also, Auburn's my sister's school, so I'll let her have it. I'm not going to steal the spotlight this time, so she's a Tiger, and I'll be a fill in the blank here. Alright guys, so here we are. This is the top 6. This is when it definitely got a lot harder to make the decisions, I will be completely honest, but let's continue on. I'm thinking the next school that I ruled out was LMU, just because this was my one California school that I got into. Sorry USC, but you didn't let me in, so I don't really know what to tell you. You're missing out. There's definitely a soft spot in my heart for LMU because of that, because I knew I would be able to stay in California if I went here. But when looking at the major a little bit more, it would have been setting me up to be like a sound engineer or head of sound, which I have a lot of experience in, but that's just not exactly where I see myself going. I'd rather be an editor or digital media artist or something compared to sound engineer. The program at LMU is amazing though, and I definitely feel like I might be missing out, but as for now, I'm pretty confident that I'm going to have a better time where I'm going. Let's hope at least. The next school I ruled out was University of Arizona. This is going to sound really petty, but the only reason why I ruled this school out is because it's 110 over the summer and I just cannot handle that. So, goodbye University of Arizona. You had a really cool program, but you are just too hot over the summer and I cannot hang with that. The next school I ruled out is Baylor University. Now, this school is actually funny because I had the opportunity to go out and tour it, but then I don't really know what happened. I just one day was like, actually, I don't really want to tour Baylor. So I didn't end up going out to Waco, but I kind of regret it, I think. But just looking more into the major, if you remember last time I was talking about it, it's a communications specialist major, which is a mix of just a base communications major with some film and digital media in it. So it's not strictly film. And just when I look at what I'm hoping to do, I think it's going to be more helpful to have a communications minor rather than a mixed major. I don't know if that makes any sense, but just a major that's more focused on production rather than communications. That's why Baylor had to go. And also the town was Waco just seemed a little bit small, and I am definitely a city girl. Alright guys, this is definitely when things started to get really complicated. So the 3 schools that were in my top 3 were University of Colorado Boulder, University of Utah, and University of Washington. All these schools I went out and toured, and I loved the campus of each of them. They all had a great amount of outdoor activity, hiking, skiing, which I love to do. I'm not good, but I love to ski. The majors were super cool, and just everything seemed really great about these 3 schools. So getting into all of them, I was super excited about it. Because besides USC, these were my top 3. Well, with USC, that was my top 4. So I got into 3 of my 4 top schools, and that was just super awesome. But definitely getting into them made it a really hard decision. And I spent a lot of time thinking about it, and the first school I ruled out right away was University of Colorado Boulder. And the sole reason that I ruled this out was just because what was the reason I ruled the school out? The reason why I ruled out this school was just because their major seemed relatively new and it was a developing program. And I'm all for developing programs, but it just seemed like they were still trying to learn how to balance communications and media, kind of a lot like Baylor was, where it's kind of a mixed major compared to a separate media major, which just made, it seemed like it was going to make choosing classes a little bit harder, and therefore it just wasn't the right place for me. But I definitely like the school. My band teacher actually went here, and she has nothing but good things to say about it. And I felt kind of bad telling her that I'm not going here, but it was definitely a top choice, and I totally would have loved to go here. Alright guys, we have the final 2. In this corner, we have University of Utah, and that is a film and media productions major. And then in this corner, we have University of Washington with a cinema and media studies major. Now, both of these schools really put me in a tough spot. So let me go through some pros and cons. First off, we'll start with University of Utah. Pros, I toured the campus and got an actual department tour, which was extremely nice, and I got to learn a lot of useful information about the major that I was interested in. Some cons are that my College of Fine Arts, is moving from one building to another. So my first year would be pretty construction heavy. So I'd have to be switching between different buildings, which could get a little confusing, but I'm not sure how big of a deal it is. Next up, pros and cons of University of Washington. Pro, I love Seattle. Seattle is one of my favorite cities in the United States. And, yes. Cons, the major is a cinema and media studies major, which focuses a lot more on the, trends of film and media. So, I'd have to take a lot of classes on, history of film and media, which is super interesting to me, but it's a lot more lecture classes compared to hands-on classes. At the school, my minor would actually be a film production minor. Therefore, I'll be able to use equipment, editing, all that shebang. So I'd have to double minor in communications in order to fulfill my dream of being a communications minor as well. We'll go back over to Utah. Another pro of Utah is that they are one of the best geology schools in the nation. And if you don't know this about me, one of my dreams was to become a paleontologist when I was growing up. So I could probably take a few dinosaur classes at University of Utah. Another pro of Washington is that its mascot is a dog. And I like dogs. That's kind of the dumbest pro I've ever heard, but it was definitely in my consideration. Dogs, utes. What's a ute? I know what a dog is. The last thing that was the most important element of my research is where is the nearest Chick-fil-A in relation to these schools. Now, University of Utah has a Chick-fil-A approximately 10 minutes from campus. Not bad. University of Washington has a Chick-fil-A approximately 10 minutes from campus when there's no traffic. But when there's traffic, it could be upwards of 20 to 25 minutes, which, if I'm in intense hunger, could turn into a problem. But due to Postmates, I don't think it should come into my final decision, and I will not let it come into my final decision. So, after going through those pros and cons, I definitely think I know where I'm going to college, and hopefully you guys are excited to know where I'm going to college. So, let's do a little countdown. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to the University of Utah! After looking at curriculum guides, looking at my major, emailing back and forth with different faculty members, I felt like the University of Utah was definitely where I was meant to be. One of my sister's really good friends actually goes to the University of Utah, and she helped me out a lot. I was able to ask her a ton of my questions, and just from hearing her answers, it definitely seemed like the right fit. I couldn't be more excited to go to Utah. Yeah, I'm just so excited to see what the future's gonna hold as a Ute. Well guys, thank you so much for watching and coming along with me on my college journey these last 2 weeks. I hope you guys have had a fun time learning about me a little bit more and where I'm going to be spending the next 4 years of my life. I'm super excited. I'll make sure to keep this whole YouTube thing up and show you guys around the campus at Utah once I get there in the fall. Yeah, so just thanks for sticking with me these last few weeks. It's been cool to see my channel grow over the past 2 videos, and I'm excited to see where it's going to go in the future. And yeah, just thanks for hanging out. I hope you guys think I made a good decision. I don't know if it was predictable or not. I don't know if I gave it away a little bit, so let me know what you guys thought of that too. And yeah, go Utes!